12 o'clock, here's the media news. First, the top stories. NUT asks Ogun State government to reinstate its 3 dismissed officials. Obasanjo explains why he withdrew support for Jonathan in 2015 polls. Senate committee alleges that police caught away report on 2017 budget report. State governors in Abuja for the National Economic Council's meeting. In foreign, 37-year-old woman sets world record with 38 children. And U.S. tightens sanctions on North Korea amidst nuclear tension in Korea axis. Good afternoon, I am Aghemerio Oaikhenan, bringing you the news and details shortly. And now the news in detail. Nigerian Union of Teachers, NUT, has again asked the Ogun State government to reinstate 3 of its members sacked for allegedly violating the civil service regulations during the 2016 Teachers' Day in Abeokuta. The union, however, says it will not go to court to compel the state government to reinstate them. 34 members of the union, including the state chairman, Dari Ilekoya, were dismissed by the state government for their roles during the Teachers' Day celebration. 31 of them had since been recalled to work by the state government following plea by the union, leaving the state chairman and 2 other union officials yet to be reinstated. The NUT National President, Mr. Michael Aluga, speaking to Newsman on the sideline of the 6th Quadrennial State Delegates Conference in Abeokuta, says the union will exhaust all means of dialogue in resolving the issue rather than heading to court. Aluba, who was represented by the National Second Vice President, Saka Adesina, and the Senior Assistant Secretary General, M. Brimo, explains that the union had written 72 letters and addressed 7 news conferences to appeal to the state government. Saudi Arabia has given the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, up till June to conclude all arrangements and logistics on behalf of Nigeria's intending pilgrims to this year's Hajj. The Commission Chairman, Alhaji Abdullahi Mohammed, made this known while receiving 500 level students of Hospitality and Tourism Department of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, who were on a study tour. He explains that the Hajj process that must be concluded late June includes the sensitization of intending pilgrims and the collection of travel fee from intending pilgrims for conversion into the Saudi Riyal, accommodation, and transport. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has gone down memory lane to explain why he opposed the second-term bid of former President Goodluck Jonathan in the 2015 polls. One of the reasons, according to Obasanjo, is the way Jonathan was handling the war against Boko Haram forces and his handling of the state matters within the context of Ijaw interest. The former president, speaking at a book launch in Abuja, also recalled the insistence of Jonathan to go for a second term in office in violation of the one-term agreement he reached with top northern leaders ahead of the 2011 presidential poll. Obasanjo says he stood by the agreement with the northern leaders when Jonathan, on the eve of the 2015 polls, enlisted the support of Pastors Enoch Adeboye and Bishop David Oyedepo at a meeting held at his hilltop mansion in Abeokuta on January 12, 2015. In the run-up to the 2015 presidential poll, Obasanjo says he opposed Jonathan's bid for re-election and did not support Buhari, adding that Buhari was just a beneficiary of his campaign against Jonathan. Again, President Muhammadu Buhari did not attend the weekly meeting of the Federal Executive Council at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Also absent from the meeting were the Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Yari, and 14 out of the 34 ministers in the cabinet. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo was asked by Buhari to preside over the meeting after the cabinet members waited for him to arrive at the council chamber. The president also failed to attend the meeting a fortnight ago, and last week the council failed to meet, a development that the presidency attributes to the Easter celebration. Meanwhile, Buhari will for the time being operate from his official residence in the villa. Information and Culture Minister Alhaji Lai Mohammed, addressing the State House correspondent, said President Buhari was absent from the meeting of the Federal Executive Council because he wanted to rest at home. Hope of early passage of the 2017 budget bill still before the National Assembly appears to be dimming. Chairman of the Senate Appropriation Committee, Danjuma Goje, speaking during the Senate plenary, says the documents from the bill were among those carted away by police during their raid of his Abuja home over the weekend. The senator lists items taken away during the raid to include laptops and 18 documents containing the report of the committee on the bill. He explains that this has prevented his committee from presenting the report of the 2017 budget bill before the Senate plenary as scheduled. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has given the police a 24-hour deadline to return the report of the 2017 budget bill in their possession. The document, according to the chairman of the Senate Appropriation Committee, Danjuma Goje, were carted away by police during the raid on his home in Asokoro, Abuja. The House also agreed to set up an ad hoc committee to invite the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, to appear before it to explain the need for the raid. The death toll from the meningitis epidemic has risen to 813. The figure was 745 last April 19. Health Minister Professor Isaac Adewale, who made this known to the State House correspondent after the meeting of the Federal Executive Council in Abuja, however, says the spread of the disease is slowing down. The minister promised that the disease will be over within the next couple of weeks. Most of the deaths were recorded in Zamfara State and 4 other states in the north. You're still listening to the Midday News on Rock City 11.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business and sport news. Please do stay with us. And now on the foreign scene. A 37-year-old Ugandan woman living in Kambibiri village, Mukono district outside of Kampala, has made world record for having 38 children. According to the Daily Monitor of Uganda, the woman, identified as Miriam Nabatanzi Babirye, had her last baby via cesarean section in December 2016, after which doctors cut her uterus from inside. She has had 6 sets of twins, 4 sets of triplets, 3 sets of quadruplets, and single birth. 10 of these are girls, and the rest are boys. The oldest is 23 years old, while the youngest is 4 months. The monitor said she was married at the age of 12 in 1993 to a man who was 40 years old. In 1994, when she was 13, Nabatanzi gave birth to twins. 2 years later, she gave birth to triplets, and a year and 7 months after that added a set of quadruplets. At the age of 23 with 25 children, she went back to hospital to try to stop producing more babies. The U.S. is to tighten sanctions on North Korea and set up diplomatic moves aimed at pressuring the country to end its nuclear and missile programs. President Donald Trump's strategy was announced after a special briefing for all 100 U.S. senators. The senators received a highly unusual briefing by the Trump administration on the seriousness of the threat from North Korea and the president's strategy for dealing with it on Wednesday. Earlier, Admiral Harry Harris, head of U.S. Pacific Command, said the U.S. would be ready with the best technology to defeat any missile threat. The deployment of Terminal High Altitude Area Defense THAAD system in South Korea was aimed, he argued, at bringing North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to his senses, not to his knees. And now in business. The meeting of the National Economic Council is due to hold today in Abuja. It will be presided over by Vice President Shemi Oshibajo at the Presidential Villa. Ahead of the meeting, the governors met last night at the Presidential Villa to set an agenda for the meeting. Top on the agenda of the governors is the delayed release of the second tranche of the payout from the over-deduction from the Federation account to service the London and Paris club loans. Before the Wednesday night meeting at the Villa, governors of the APC platform had met with members of the party's National Working Committee at the APC National Headquarters in Abuja. Lagos State government says it is in talks with the presidency for the planned relocation of oil tank farms located in Apapa Central Business District in Lagos Metropolis. The State Fiscal and Urban Development Commissioner Abiola Anifowoshe, who made this known at a news briefing in Ikeja, Lagos, says the location of the tank farms is posing several challenges to people residing or doing business in the area. The expressway leading to the Tinkan Island and Apapa port complexes, because of the location of more than a dozen of oil tank farms in the axis, has been permanently taken over by tankers waiting to lift products. The commissioner recalls that both the Eredwa and Jonathan administrations promised to relocate the tank farms but failed to do so. Anifowoshe also announced a ban on the construction of new filling stations in the state until the taking of the inventory of the existing ones are completed. Finally, sport news. The cash-strapped Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) has received a financial boost from an energy company worth around $9.2 million over the next 5 years. The deal with the ITO Group will pay all Nigerian national football teams' coaches' salaries for the next 5 years with 500 million naira annually. NFF boss Amaju Pinnick says the deal will make it easier for them to plan adequately for Nigeria's national teams. Pinnick explains that the deal will also take care of the national team coach salary. Pinnick assures that there will be no owing of coaches for the next 5 years. That was the media news, and just before we go, the major stories once again. UT asks Ogun State government to reinstate its 3 dismissed officials. Obasanjo explained why he withdrew support for Jonathan in 2015 polls. Senate committee alleged that police carted away report on 2017 budget report. State governors in Abuja for the National Economic Council's meeting. In foreign, we told you that 37-year-old woman set world record with 38 children, and also reported was U.S. tightened sanctions on North Korea amidst nuclear tension in Korea axis. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you so much for listening. I am Aghemerio Oaikhenan. Good afternoon.